Guys, welcome to the Techclick show. Today we are going to shoot one video about the topic is the Cloudflare. Okay, so this is very important course for those who are looking for job change or who are working currently on that tool, or the very important they want to move their career into the web application firewall, right? So guys, the important part about BAF is that most of the top AI companies are using the Cloudflare, right? Whether it's a Grok, ChatGPT, like most of the popular brand are using the Cloudflare as a BAF, right? And even we are also using BAF to OWSP top 10 protection, all malware content, and everything we can protect from Cloudflare, right? Basically, course what we are going to cover, we will tell you why Cloudflare is important, right? What is the use case of Cloudflare? How many type of features available on Cloudflare? And Cloudflare is not only WAF, is it more than that, right? So I will try to cover that as well. And in the last of video, I will tell you something which is going to important for your interview. You can crack your interview. You can learn a lot of things from that video. I will put some document in the description of that video, so you should take it and download and keep it. Try to understand why you needed BAF, right? And what is full form of BAF is the web application, okay, firewall, right? Web application firewall, okay. So what is the use of web application firewall? It is actually it is intercept your web based traffic, okay. This is like a reverse proxy, right? Forward proxy is the one which traffic going from inside to the outside, that is called a forward proxy, right? So suppose this is you as a PC, this is your server, right? Server is sitting behind the maybe internet, right? So what I'm saying is, okay, so if you put at some device here, okay, so this is the proxy called a forward proxy. Forward proxy means is the any user behind the this proxy is sitting and trying to access the internet, which may be www.facebook.com. They should go via this proxy, right? Again, the WAF is some kind of reverse proxy, right? How is the reverse proxy? So same, if you put it in, if you understand on the server perspective, right? So this is the server, right guys? So if you set it, this is suppose BAF, right? And you block all user coming from or hitting on the admin URL, they should block, right? So ideally what happen, your traffic coming from outside and hitting on the WAF, after WAF it will landed on the server, right? So you understand, forwarding proxy means traffic coming from, you are going and this device sitting on the your environment, you as a user, that device sitting in your environment. WAF basically sitting or configured behind your server, right? So let me give you one more important things. What is difference between WAF and the firewall? So most of the common question of that, what is the difference between both, right? So maybe people are asking that question. So BAF, the idea, or the you can say the main major difference between BAF and firewall is web basically dedicated, okay. BAF is dedicated for server, you can say provide for provide security to the servers, okay. And ideally it will handle HTTP and HTTPS based request. So any server, because if it's a server, then of course user can access that server from the remote, from the outside of organization, in within organization. So server should be accessible by a web web traffic, which may be HTTP, HTTPS, or maybe any other port, right? But the popular one, HTTP and HTTPS, right? The firewall actually protect you based on the L3, L4 till L7 layer of support. Okay, of course, there is a right now NGFW, next generation firewall, have a capability to capture the, make it, detect the signatures of the application and block it, right? You can block your DOS attack, right? Most of the features are available, but if you're talking about the, if you go into deeper side, right? Suppose the example of that is I want to block SQL injection, and I want to block on the dedicated parameter, right? So this option you cannot get it on the this firewall, right? Or just a different example, right? So suppose I want to block traffic based on the HTTP header, right? How you can block it? HTTP based header, is it not available on the most of the firewall, right? Or in the DOS protection, DDoS protection, BAF will provide a more option than the simple next generation firewall you have, right? Same time, next generation firewall dedicated make it the traffic, whether you can block the IP address, port number, signature based attack, you can block all application URL filtering, a cloud application, right? You can block, but is it not make, or it is not configure for dedicated DMZ servers, right? So every device have different use case, like a firewall, right? So WAF is also firewall, next generation firewall is also firewall, but both are different. One device dedicated using for WAF, right? DMZ server, another device dedicated using for internet traffic, right? So you understand also one thing, firewall you can use on the both direction, but ideally firewall you are using when you are your traffic going from inside to the outside, you are filtering that traffic, right? But in WAP case, WAP is mostly handling the traffic which coming from internet to on your DMZ server, right? So because any request coming from outside should be landed in your organization, should be intercepted by WAF, right? This was the basic part of WAP, right? So the problem, HTTP API application are the primary attack surface in modern infrastructure. What that mean is, if your application is the public application, then of course you need to worry about that application should get a lot of attacks, because you are not defining the actual source. Maybe your application is internet based, right? Attack exploit logic flow, injection, authentication gap, not just a network vulnerability, right? So firewall will be cover your all network level of attacks vulnerability, but what about the server level, right? That should not possible by a firewall. So you can go with WAF, right? So Cloudflare have a very advanced features, right? I, by the way, using Cloudflare in my Techclick, right? So inspect every HTTP API request at layer 7 before reach to the origin, right? So any request reaching to your server, okay? So the architecture is Cloudflare is saying whether you are deploy any application on the cloud or you deploy in your on premises, I will first one who intercept your request, I will look up that is there anything which is blocked by your company and we are trying to access, that should be blocked, right? Enforce rule at the Cloudflare global is not on the own server, okay? The rule should be applicable not on your server level, because when you are putting, see what I'm saying is, so actually this is the user, who is the internet user, this is a Cloudflare, right? Cloud there, and after Cloudflare you have a server, right? So what that mean is, any request user hitting on www.techclick.in, so first request landed here on the Cloudflare check is the that request is okay, and Is it the everything is okay as per your company rule policy? If all align with your company policy, then that request landed on the backend server, right? So Cloudflare here work as a man in middle, right? So I will explain in a later detailing part. I will also show you in the lab. Okay, we are also using Cloudflare for our Techclick, right? So see how Cloudflare BAP operate at edge level. Client request. Client means any internet user hitting on your website. Okay. So edge reception BAP inspection forward to origin. Let me discuss one by one all features, right? So what happen on edge level? Every request coming as a HTTP or API is intercepted at the nearest Cloudflare POP. Okay, Cloudflare also using POP. POP means they have all over globe data center, right? So if you see, go on the Cloudflare. How many POP of Cloudflare? So they have a global network as well, right? You see they have 55 cities in North America, right? Total 335 cities, 125 countries they have, and this is the network interconnection. They have a minimum latency over the internet, right? So if you see in India, they have a lot of data center in India. If you see Mumbai, they have New Delhi, they have data center, Pune they have, I think they have a Mumbai as well. Mumbai they have, right? Right. Kochi they have. So a lot of data center they have in India, right? So like same they have in other country also data center, right? So you understand once you shall hitting on your web application or your URL, ideally what happen, because you already define your application or your website on the Cloudflare. So Cloudflare is not like that. When you are hitting on the cloud on your user website, that request will be landed on the nearest data center of user location, right? So the user location nearest data center should be, like if user belongs to Pune, then of course they will connect to Mumbai or Pune. Okay, so user feel that the website is near to me, but actually Cloudflare will be the first level of inspection happen, and after Cloudflare fetch the detail, check all policies. If everything is okay, then it will send request to the backend server. Also, I will later tell you the cache part, which is very important, right? Suppose you don't want every time Cloudflare go to your backend server. Suppose you user accessing your website in India and your application sitting on a US data center. So what will be happen in that case? Every time Cloudflare will be go on the backend and then try to fetch that, right? So instead of, you can use the cache option. Cache option means it will clone your all website content on the Cloudflare, that is called CDN, right? So next time when you're trying to access that website, that open within that pop itself, which is maybe in Delhi or Mumbai or Cloudflare. So it no need to go on the backend and fetch it again until unless the backend data or backend application have any new content, right? So they have all over globe network, right? So key attribute inspection is IP address, ASN, country, URI, header, cookies, query, string, and request body. So you see a lot of features, you will get it to filter it out. Attack score, bot score, leaked credential flag are appear as a metadata, right? So Cloudflare is very clear, very hard security. Basically, they also giving a lot of custom option. You can block the user traffic, right? So master core concept, rule and rule set. Okay, the rule is that filter, expression, action, right? Rule set is the order of collection of rule, evaluate from top to bottom. This is just like your firewall, right? The Cloudflare rule is also work from top to bottom, right? And terminating action, whether suppose user hitting the request will landed on the rule, it will check whether it's allow, block, or challenge, or redirect basically, or challenge, right? Challenge means, guys, have you seen when you're trying to access any website, It is asking that this error Cloudflare challenge. If you see like this, have you visited any website, and it is asking like that, right? So if you selected the challenge option, so you will get it like that. Redirect means if your request going, if you will block that request will be taken down. If you put it the challenge, user got the pop-up, it means that suppose any user or any attacker trying to put at the DOS attack on your website, so they will got a, that automatically not happen because they need to solve the challenge, right? Redirect means if you want to, your front URL is different and backend URL is different, then you can put the redirect option as well, right? So distinguish detection from the mitigation, right? What that mean is detection phase, how happen detection in each request with the score metadata, it does not take action on its own. So detection part is basically WAF Cloudflare automatically identify the real time the score of that traffic, and based on that it will decide whether I can block, manage, skip, or and record the logs, right? So bot score, BAF attack score is ML based score from 0 to 99. Estimate likelihood of attack and payload, right? So this is something based on the score. It will decide whether I can block the traffic or allow. Bot score is likelihood the request originating from the automated bot, right? Bot score is if any request coming from bot, like uh, what happen in these days, actually AI tools are crawling on your website to get it the content from that, right? So even you can block that things from the Cloudflare. If you don't want, no one can visit it on your website, especially these bots which are fetching the detail from your website. Leak credential flag is, you see that leak credentials flag if submit credential appear in the known breach database, right? So mitigation phase is the block, manage, challenge, skip, and log record, right? So there's a four part of that, right? In managed mitigation phase. So managed rule, I mentioned that signature based rule written and regularly updated by Cloudflare security team, including OWSP, okay, top 10 core rule set, no expression, no authorized require, because these are the predefined rule by the Cloudflare, so you no need to do anything, right? Custom rule is that user defined rule. Suppose you define that I need a block IP which hold the 192.168.1.1. If any user coming from this IP, I need to block, so you can block as a custom rule, right? Custom rule is good to give you the more customization, right? So let me, I think same time I need to start the uh, lab as well, so that you understand what I'm saying is, if you see guys, let me drag myself this side. Okay, so if you see guys, this is my account I added in the Cloudflare, right? So account is techclick.in, this is the domain. So first, once you created your account or any company, so what you need to do, you need to add your domain on the Cloudflare, because Cloudflare is that not a hardware box, this is the SaaS based solution. So when I added my DNS, it means that I want any traffic coming from internet should be landed first on Cloudflare. After that, it will go to the my backend server. So if you see here, this is my domain which I already added. And guys, the Cloudflare I am using from more than I think 5 years. Okay, completed. So if you see, it is showing real time traffic, right? So these are the my subdomain. Okay, you see what happened, 6.5k traffic I'm getting in last 24 hours, right? So if you want to see last 30 days, I think if data is available or not, I'm not sure. Okay, you see that last 30 days 556.9k. Okay, now means 56 or 57,000 person should visited on our website, right? And this is the total ZB of the data consuming, right? So you see guys, the good part about the Cloudflare is you can see the report in the detail. You see the requested, you see the bandwidth utilization from last, is it the last 24 hour, right? So you see how much bandwidth utilization, how uncached bandwidth, how cached bandwidth done by the Cloudflare, right? And then you see the web traffic requested by countries, right? So you can see traffic coming from United States, India, Netherlands, Singapore, Belgium. So most of the traffic coming from the United States, right? And byte, byte saved 26 GB because of, we are using cache. So Cloudflare, without even connecting to the backend server, Cloudflare itself responding to the user request, because it doesn't every time request going to the backend server. So you see 26 GB is the total save bandwidth. This is the SSL request which sub by till now, and this is the attack block. You see guys, stop the bad guys with the Cloudflare 35780 malicious request block or challenge in last month, right? So this is the whole month data, right? You see unique visitor as well. This is very huge number. Mm. So guys, Cloudflare provide most of the features are free. So if you want, you can use as a practice. Okay, you can create your account on Cloudflare. You can add your own domain. Okay, actually you needed a domain, need to add on Cloudflare. Then you can do the testing, right? So this is the analytics part, because I already using, that's why this I have, right? So you can see traffic overview, right? If you click on that, it will give you the all detailing part, right? On which URL how many traffic are coming, right? You see the most of the traffic coming from ai.techclick.in. These are the top country. So you see guys, this is very very good to understand the traffic pattern, right? So also you can filter it out here, right? So this is the HTTP traffic, right? You see the most of the traffic coming from the United States, right? Web analytics. So this give you that core web vital, right? So how many URLs are coming? Like it will actually deep dive on, suppose ai.techclick.in. If you are hitting on, then how many sub URLs you are hitting on, right? How many time hitting on this one, right? It will give you that core web vital. So this is the one which help you to improve your website speed, right? So you can see these are the improvement part. So 4 count need to improve 4 count, right? So poor is the 2 is the poor one. So if you see that the debug element, okay, I will check. So these are the actually less CLS count, no problem. I let me download this because I need to fix all issues with my team. Okay. So guys, what I was talking about. So you see this overview of Cloudflare, right? So upper, you as a network or network security engineer, your work will be, you are more focused on the this part rule, right? In the rule, you see page rule. Okay, you see that there's also one part is that security part, right? In the security part, you guys can define the rule, right? You can define the security rule, like you see we define a lot of security rule regarding that. You can define your DOS protection, right? So we will discuss this in later videos in detail, right? What is the security rule, what is the DOS protection, right? Then we'll see web assets, right? You can also add your, and by the way, most of the features Zscaler launched recently, right? So you can schema validation, client side resource, right? You see these are the all client side resource. If we want, we can define there. So skip detect in HTTP traffic in previous 7 days more than 3 times. So these are the malicious script are showing, right? So you see Cloudflare automatically detect that and take down all your all problematic thing. So you see cache part I was talking about. If you don't want every time the Cloudflare going to the backend and pick the request, you can use that one, right? So then speed one, okay, AI crawling, right? AI crawling. So Cloudflare also provide you the option, if any bot visited on your website, to take a detail. You see that, you see how many AI engines are visited on our website. So this is the data, right? So Bing bot is coming from the search engine, AI crawling happen on Amazon bot, right? So let me back, show you the proper way like this. Okay, so you see these are the AI bot which visited on our website. So you see guys, the benefit of the Cloudflare is I'm getting this result as well, right? So you see this has happened in last 24 hours. Bing, Microsoft, Amazon, Anthropic, Apple, ByteDance, Perplexity, Baidu, and Meta. So all are coming, right? So most of the request coming from this Anthropic, right? And Cloudflare detected 730 requests from Anthropic, right? And the request is coming from Cloudabot, right? And AI.Techclick and blog.Zscaler exchange factor is the most called with the 25 success requests, right? So I also see that guys, how many time these are visited, right? You see the optimization of your website you can do, right? So the main part is I will tell you my topology guys. So website, I'm using my own server, I'm sitting in my home network, right? And Cloudflare, I make it the tunnel between Cloudflare to the my server. So any request landed on the first Cloudflare. After Cloudflare, we have already tunnel between my server to the Cloudflare. So request after inspected traffic by Cloudflare, it will landed on the my backend server, right? I need to download this as well because I need to work on improvement part as well. So no problem, I will copy later. So guys, be back on that. Okay. So the deployment method, you can use the web application exploit, right? You have got a two version. One is the pro free, another one is pro version. So free managed rule are only basic production. Cloudflare managed rule set and OWS bit are top 10. You will get it in the pro version. And pro, maybe they are charging for $24 per month, I think, if I'm not wrong, right? So they have also enterprise version as well. So companies are using this. If you want to practice, you can go with free version. There's a lot of good part is there. Even I'm using also free. I'm paying, but initially I use a free version of Cloudflare. Okay. So build custom rule with the rule language, right? So match any traffic, right? Let me build one rule. I security rule, right? So let me create a custom rule. You see here, let me click on create a custom rule, right? So you see there's a four type of rule: custom rule, rate limit rule, managed rule, and template. So if you are not expert, then you can go with the template. Okay, if you click on template, it will already there, allow only specific IP address. Suppose I click on that, it will asking me which IP you want, right? I automatically take it source IP is not listed. Okay, and URI path. So what you need to do, suppose you want to block any dedicated IP, you can add that IP in the list. Okay, so anything you want to add, you can add automatically. You no need to define anything if you're not much technical. Otherwise, try to create a custom rule, right? So custom rule is, so request is always coming as a HTTP field. You can put a what source IP address, right? Suppose I want to block any traffic coming from source 8.8.8.8, right? So you see, you got a option. If you want to add more option, okay, you can select here, maybe add a country as well, and you define the Afghanistan, right? So if you want to block Afghanistan, you can set like that. Third thing, you can select and more. Okay, if you want to do more action, then you can put it the host name, IP address, refer, request method, right? You see guys, you cannot getting these options in firewall. Request method, if you want to get it, the get, post, delete, head, patch, query, connect, right? If you don't want to traffic coming from proxy, then it should be coming from connect. You can pick, right? Or you can see other filter as well. You can select HTTP header URL. So you can also select, right? You can select wildcard state equal to is okay. So if you want www.techclick.in, so you define. So what you are saying that any traffic following these category, traffic should be come with this IP address, country should be Afghanistan, and URL, if you are hitting on this URL, the action I will sell as a block. So now what will be happen? Any any traffic match this criteria should be blocked. Okay, rule order should be last or first, or because if you put at any rule top of that which match with this URL or this category, so you should be put this rule top of that rule, because Cloudflare also work from top to bottom, right? And if you want to again active that rule, it should be active, or if you put a disable and deploy it, it means rule is created but it is still in disable state, because if you click on the enable, it directly blocks. So I say block. So name always put it guys which make more sense. Country, block country Afghanistan. Okay, so create rule with your cloudy. Oh, they also launch their cloudy, right? You see that you can just type here and it will automatically create it. So AI is there also, so that's good part. If you are even not technical, so it will take care. You see block rule is there, and that rule is disabled right now, right? Because we don't want our disturbable live traffic, so that's why we put it like that, right? So again guys, is it DOS rule, right? So DOS rule is because we have a paid plan, ideally they require a paid plan, right? So for DOS rule, and they have some predefined DOS rule, right? I think I don't click on that. Okay, we'll cover DOS attack as well, don't worry guys. Error page, right? If you want, suppose your any error should be getting, then you should be served different HTML, JSON or XML plain text page status code, error source or custom condition like visitor country, or this is also good, right? So if you are going for maintenance, you should be use this to show to the user your website is under maintenance, right? So network will be important. I will cover this one by one. So guys, from next video onwards, I will start this whole series of this uh okay, whole series of Cloudflare. So I won't suggest everyone should be join us. So thanks for watching this video guys. Keep put a comment, okay, and subscribe our channel if you are new. So we are daily updating a lot of good content on for those who are looking for job change, or you are moving your profile from network security to the cyber security, from network data to cloud security, or network security, firewall, load balancer, right? So we are covering everything on that. And if somebody want to learn Zscaler, so we have a dedicated course there, right? So I will suggest everyone to check out on the description given a link, okay? And yeah, if you want, you can also connect with me over the WhatsApp. We put a number on the comment on